London Uncovered. As we are marching on to a new episode, and today we are talking about coming the full circle. And yes, the Wuhan virus has been the greatest devastation since the Great Depression. Over 2.25 million have lost their lives so far. Recession has hit all 5 continents. 26% of all businesses have shut down. 400 million jobs lost in South Asia. Global FDI collapsed by 42%. And there are still uncertainties. The pandemic has drastically changed the way we live. And we adapted quickly. Working from home, queuing in the supermarket, and wearing face masks quickly became the norm. Just as lockdown, social distancing, self-isolation became most frequently used words. It has been a tough year, but we have learned that learning doesn't have to stop. We can still communicate through social media. We have more time to do the things we enjoy. It has been a good time for the environment. We learned to appreciate what we have. We also learned that there are ways to continue to live a rich and purposeful life. And this is not the first time that humanity has faced such devastation. Throughout time, humans have evolved to survive and beat devastating infectious diseases like the plague of Justinian, where 30 to 50 million people lost their lives. Black Death, 25 million. Smallpox, 20 million. Spanish flu, 50 million. HIV/AIDS, 32 million. Cholera, millions. SARS, thousands. Swine flu, over 500,000. And Ebola, over 12,000. The list goes on, but we have learned that everything shall come to pass. And with courage, faith, patience, and compassion, we can overcome. And in the words of Charles Tindley, we can say once again, we shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Deep in our hearts, we do believe we shall overcome someday. So let's go and ask people how they have come the full circle. Talking about coming full circle, and let's see what Nigel has to say about it. Good morning, Nigel.
Good morning, Sandra.
Tell us, how did you deal with the lockdowns?
How did I deal with the lockdowns? Well, to start off with, I tried to occupy my time with hobbies and learning new skills. But the main thing I learnt from the lockdowns was to look after one another and stay in contact with your friends as much as possible.
What are the positives that you learned from the lockdown?
The positives is you can learn a lot more and expand your horizons. There has been negatives, obviously. You can lose contact with your friends. So it's very important to maintain links with everyone through emails, phones, and all the social media.
What message would you give to the world?
Stick together and stay in contact with one another.
Nigel, as always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's see what Stan has to say about coming full circle. Good morning, Stan.
Good morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, how did you deal with the lockdowns?
Okay, well, it was a bit of a shock to the system at first. Watching it on the news, we didn't understand what it was. So we've had to adapt very quickly to it. Our first lockdown was last year, March. And we found that everybody's lives had to change. A big change came in, so we've had to adapt to do different things to deal with the pandemic. We learned skills that we never had an interest in before. We did reading, we learned about different topics. We also learned how to deal with people, how to work with people, and to understand people's behaviour, and to work with people to help everybody through the pandemic.
Stan, tell us, what has the lockdowns taught us?
It has taught us that we're about to face a change. It's never going to be the same again. We've got to adapt to this change now, and we've got to live our lives now where we can adapt to it, we can change, we can do different things, we can take up different hobbies, things that's going to help us to adapt to it.
What message would you give to the world, Stan?
I would say we've got to embrace this change. It's not easy, but we've got to do that now and take each step, day at a time, and try to adapt very slowly.
Stan, that was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. A pleasure, always.
Let's see what Tom has to say about coming full circle. Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, how did you deal with the lockdowns?
Well, to begin with, probably struggled like everyone else because, I couldn't see my friends, my family, the way I wanted to. But then when it started being lifted in the summer, I created a support bubble with my girlfriend. So that was a good way of helping me cope. and I'm still in that support bubble now. I mean, it's not over yet, obviously, but it's good that I've got something to look forward to when I see her, because she's my one constant contact.
Tom, tell us, what has the lockdown taught you?
It's taught me to enjoy my own company, to pursue some interests that maybe I hadn't pursued before, to discover Netflix and Amazon. In the summer I was more active, because it's a lot colder now I'm not so active, but I plan on being more active in the spring. So yeah, just keep myself busy as much as I can, really.
What message would you give to the world, Tom?
Well, the lockdown's not over yet. No, the pandemic's not over yet. So hang in there. Seek help if you've got mental health problems, if you're struggling, and just stay strong for yourself and for your family.
Tom, as always, that was brilliant. Thank you. Now let's see what Mary has to say about coming full circle. Good morning, Mary.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, how did you deal with the lockdowns?
It's been quite difficult, but we've worked together as a team, supporting each other, talking to each other, sharing ideas, and continuing to follow government regulations, social distancing, washing hands.
What has the lockdowns taught you?
It's taught me that we have to be patient, we have to be kind to one another, because we're all going through the same thing. We don't know when we're going to come out of it, but if we are patient with one another and kind to one another, then we can come through as winners in the end.
What message would you give to the world, Mary?
Yes, we're going through a pandemic. This is not the first one, and it's not going to be the last one. Let's all continue to love each other, stay positive, and always be kind to one another.
Mary, that was amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
as we come to the end of this episode, and we heard what people had to say about coming full circle, and we have realized that every person in the world has somehow been affected by this pandemic. Could this crisis be preparing us for the future? For we have seen, over a few months, we have already witnessed a number of remarkable developments, like resilience and adaptability. How quickly people were able to adjust to a new normal of remote working and learning and social distancing. And then there was speed of change. How the speed of change has accelerated in fields ranging from artificial intelligence, digitalization, healthcare, and education. And of course, then came social, emergency, and long-term responses, managing the immediate responses to grapple with health, economic, and social emergency in line with sustainable long-term strategies. We know life is not going to be the same again, but with the patience and the persistence, we can try again. And in the words of William Hickson, when he says, "It's a lesson you should heed. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Then your courage should appear. If you persevere, you'll conquer, never fear. Try again. Once or twice though you should fail, if you would at last prevail, try again. If we strive, it's no disgrace, though we did not win the race. What should you do in that case? Try again. If you find your task is hard, time will bring you your reward. Try again. All the other folks can do, with the patience, should not you? Only keep this rule in view. Try again. And that's what we are going to do. We are going to try again.